Hi, I'm Chris Birch, and this is the 2021 KTM 1290 Super Adventure R. I absolutely love riding these big bikes. It's a huge honour and a real excited that KTM have sent this bike down here to New Zealand for me to play around with it and give you guys my impressions of what this new bike's like to ride. So the key changes to this bike from the previous model is all in the chassis. They've got a shorter frame and a longer swing arm. Trails that previously I would have been having to put a lot of rider input in to keep the bike stable, to manage the bike. Now I can just blaze straight through with no concern, relax, just letting the bike cope with it. More efficient riding, easier riding, happy times. So that lower weight, the bike still turns really well. I can notice it more on the street, to be honest. So on the windy backcountry mountain roads, the bike flicks between the corners with less rider input and a lot quicker than the previous model. I think a big improvement with this bike as well is in the styling. So I really like the blue, a bit of a nod to the old 990s. We've got a bit of the rally bike coming in through here, that sort of rally DNA that KTM is very proud of working through in this bike. And the all new headlight, I think the bike looks great. So ergonomics wise, quite a lot of changes, and the most noticeable thing is that lower seat height. Now I'm reasonably tall, but even so I still appreciate being able to get both feet to the ground in these difficult off-road situations. So a big improvement I noticed was in the suspension. So the bike hasn't lost any of its compliancy. It's still that nice, smooth, easy ride that we need for covering big ground on adventure bikes. But the new bike has a lot more in reserve. So when the terrain gets difficult, when I'm hitting those big bumps, jumps, that sort of stuff, the bike's not bottoming out. You don't reach its limits. That gives you more confidence to attack the trail, more confidence to go rougher places, and it's fully adjustable. So we have external preload adjusters, so we can adjust the preload of the fork really easily. That makes quite a big change to how the bike behaves. Pretty easy to dial that in nice and quickly. We've got compression and rebound external adjusters, separate adjusters, and you can play around with these as you're riding along. You don't have to get underneath to do that. So it's a huge range of adjustability and really easy to dial this bike in to what you want the bike to do for your terrain, your riding style, and for your intended use. A new feature to this bike is rally mode. Rally mode is fun. So you put the bike into rally mode and now you have full control over the amount of traction control that you want to have as you're riding along. Makes the ride better. You don't have to stop to change your ABS settings. You don't have to stop to change your traction control and your power mode settings. And that makes life, in my mind, that makes it safer. So KTM obviously worked really hard on moving the heat away from the rider. So it's a new split radiator, and the heat travels straight through the radiator, straight out the side of the bike, rather than traveling through the bike. So the heat from the radiators, not only is it not heating the engine and warming up the whole bike, it's not warming up the rider, it's going around you, not straight into you. My impressions on the KTM 1290 Super Adventure R so far, it's that same awesome LC8 V-twin engine. Huge amounts of torque, huge amounts of power, amazing engine to ride. But it's housed in a better chassis and a better package that makes the bike easier to ride, more stability, more agility. When we get into the difficult stuff, when we get into the really tight, meandering terrain, windy roads, windy trails, quick direction changes, that agility really comes into play, and that's that low center of gravity. It's just easier to ride. That makes the bike more accessible to a greater range of riders and allows experienced riders to go to places they previously wouldn't have imagined.